About the author.
Consciously of everything that no longer serves us, everything that would keep us limited in our point of view. We're letting go to our over-identification with the content that flows through our awareness. We're letting go of the over-identification with our temporary identities, and we have many temporary identities. Obviously, we're human. Obviously, we're masculine or feminine, a combination of both. Obviously, there's culture. Obviously, there's race. Obviously, there's gender. Obviously, there's sexual orientation. These are all identities that are temporal, and as I said in the early morning service, they are all lampshades through which the luminosity of our real identity, which is the light that lights up every individual that comes to the planet, that's our real, eternal, forever identity. And then we have temporal identities that are lampshades that we get to shine the love and the peace and the harmony and the intelligence through. And so there must not be an over-identification with the temporary IDs. Those are the ways we celebrate the limitless, infinite way that God expresses. But if we over-identify with the limited identities, we become offended and we fight for those things instead of letting our light so shine before those that are in the world. When they see us, they see the God presence that's shining through all of our temporary identities, our artistry, our genius, all that we have been given a unique expression. We're all unique expressions of infinite God, infinite good, infinite love, that we may reveal heaven on earth. Are you down with that? Do you hear that? You can answer me back. It's all right. And so we're letting go of that which would hinder, and we're letting go to our luminosity. We're letting go to the innate greatness and joy and harmony and peace that is within us. And oftentimes that's a little bit difficult because we have identified with so much that have happened to the personality construct that it is difficult to surrender and let go to the infinite presence, because it means a level of vulnerability, a level of openness, a level of pliability, flexibility, availability. And so we'd rather hold on to the pain that we are familiar with than to let go and surrender to the bliss that we haven't touched yet. And so the art of letting go is another way of saying surrender. Let go and let God. Let go and let love. Let go and let joy. Let go and let peace. We're living in a field of infinite possibilities. And as we expand our awareness through activated affirmative prayer, meditation, life visioning, sacred service, hanging with high and holy people. As I've said earlier, high and holy people does not mean religious and pious people. It just means individuals who are on the cutting edge of constantly growing, developing, and unfolding to their greater yet to be. It means they have discovered that their purpose is to reflect and to reveal the cosmos in a way that has never happened before, and they are unwilling to live in the comfort zones of mediocrity, but are constantly living to become more and more and more of who and what they really are as an emanation of pure spirit. So this, to hang with that kind of dynamic, creates a kind of a vibrational osmosis, so that you actually become the vibration that you most hang out with. And so you want to be aware of your choices, of where you're going, who you're hanging out with, what kind of conversations you're having, so that you're constantly up-leveling your vibrational frequency, so that you become available to that which is outside of your present point of view, your present paradigm, where all of the infinite goodies lie. You don't know what you don't know. And what you don't know, what is not known in the vibration of your personality knowing, oh, it is so much good, so much bliss and ecstasy, that oftentimes we are afraid to even imagine such joy and such harmony and such happiness. So we have to develop the art of letting go. sitting sometimes in the sacred silence, having no input from the world of effects and circumstances and situations, becoming still and prayerful long enough that an insight emerges within us, and we begin to see that there's something about us that we did not inherit from our parents, did not come from the world, did not come from educational systems or miseducational systems, did not come from external authority figures. It came directly from us emerging from the eternal presence. Our life has no beginning and will never end, and incrementally or suddenly we begin to see differently. There's an art and a science to this letting go. This is why we say, be still and to know that the I am presence of God is within you. This is why we say, go within to the inner closet and commune with the presence, and you will be rewarded openly. This is why we say the ground upon which you're standing is holy, because you're standing there. And Mother Earth, ooh, she is a mother. She is so sweet. She is wonderful, you see. And so we open ourselves up to the art of letting go. Say it with me right now. I let go and let God. I let go and let love. I let go and let beauty. I let go and let intelligence run my life. I let go and allow abundance to fulfill itself through me. I am developing the art of letting go. And so you've made a vow with yourself, and in that moment you are subsequently breaking every vow that you've ever had with mediocrity. You're making a vow with yourself to be a greater version of yourself every single month, every single year. In other words, bringing in that quote that I love that says, in substance, that true nobility is not being superior to another individual. True nobility is being superior to your previous self. And so you're living in that dynamic, not comparing yourself to anyone else, because that's hell. You are growing to be superior to your previous self. That's unfoldment. That's growth. And so today, as we enter into the topic, and I'm filibustering a little bit because I'm trying to think what the topic is. What is it? Oh, I love this topic. Your miracle perspective. No judgment. That's the topic for today. And when we talk about miracles, we're coming to an understanding that a miracle is an instant or incremental demonstration of truth. Something that already exists. It's already real in the ineffable. Already real in the cosmos. Already real in the universal presence. Already real, and we have to have a miracle perspective in order for that miracle to be demonstrated in our life. Now, that happens when we begin to understand that we are to live not as judgmental individuals. Judge not according to appearances, but judge righteous judgment. We're coming to an understanding here that judgment basically limits your perception to live at the vibration of what you're judging, so that you keep re-experiencing, like Groundhog Day, the very things that you are judging. When we say in substance, as Yeshua ben Joseph, that brown Palestinian, Jesus the Christ, said, judge not according to appearances, but judge righteous judgment. He was saying in substance that righteous judgment is to lift your frequency, that you can begin to see that which is true and real. Because the moment you judge something, you shrink your perception to that which you are judging, and you've pulled yourself out of the real world, and you've pulled yourself into the world that you are against. You've pulled yourself into the world that you are afraid of. You've pulled yourself into the world that you're fighting against. You've pulled yourself into the world of the things you think are wrong because of your judgment. The miracle perspective is to judge not, and to open up your awareness, as the quantum physicists would tell us, the objective world only exists when there's an observer of it. And so if you are in judgment of the things you don't like, then you're a participation of that world, and you're creating it with your hate, your resistance, your righteousness, their wrongness. The objective world is created by your observation. So judge not according to appearances, judge righteous judgment. That's why you pray. That's why you meditate, to begin to see the way it really is. So someone's holding judgment against you. You say to yourself, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Not true, but interesting. You begin to move from fighting against judgment against yourself, or so-called evil intentions against you, to, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Not my perspective, but it's an interesting perspective. Everybody gets to choose their perspectives. That's not mine. I want to choose righteous judgment. God is everywhere. And for those who are new to agape, we're not believing in a Superman God in the sky. You know, we're talking about a presence that is never an absence, that is love, beauty, intelligence, the spirit that is everywhere in its fullness, not made in our image, but we're made in its image, which means we have the faculty to think independent of experience and circumstances. We are powerful beyond measure, you see? And so, someone's judging you. Oh, you just go into taking no offense and say, oh, that's interesting. It has nothing to do with me. It really has something to do with them. That's where they're living. God bless you. And keep on stepping. The same thing with the world. Sometimes we develop a habit of actually looking for the things that are crazy in the world. We actually develop the habit of looking at things that are awful, looking at things that are not right, so to speak. Looking at, and we end up in judgment of those things, and then that becomes the world that we are creating. Remember, there's no external world without an observer of it. And so what are you doing? You're coming into the awareness of, in that world, trials and tribulations will exist. But be of good cheer, because I've overcome that world. I'm living somewhere else. And because I'm living somewhere else, because I'm living in the higher frequency, I get to bring that frequency into and as this world, you see? Listen, somebody has to show joy in the midst of a pandemic. Someone has to show joy, love, and happiness in the midst of a seeming war-torn world. If someone does not do that, it will not exist. Someone has to be strong enough to say the presence of God is everywhere. I can see with my eyes the rewards, as the 91st Psalm would indicate, that the rewards of individuals who are living in a lesser frequency, but it shall not come in my awareness. I live in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty. It can't touch me because I'm not living there. You see, this is real mysticism. It's not just stage 2 manifestation, how to get a parking spot. It is opening up your awareness to an understanding that all of this presence, by means of us, is trying to reveal itself on earth. Now, in reality, it's already here. But can you see it? You see, love and peace and joy and wisdom and harmony is everywhere except where it's being suppressed by a limited perception. It's everywhere except where it's being suppressed by a limited perception. So you want to check out how you're suppressing it? Look at your major complaint. Just look at it. That right there is you suppressing the is of God in your life. Comparison, blocking abundance, prosperity, health, hope, all of the qualities of the Spirit, you see? And so, somewhere along the line, we have to be strong enough to really practice the presence of God is everywhere. So you know what habit you want to develop? You want to begin to share your miracle stories. How many of you shared a miracle story this week? I know you shared a couple of complaints. I know you shared a couple of things that ain't going right. I know you shared a couple of things that, wish this was better. But how many miracle stories have you shared? And the miracle doesn't have to be like, ooh, really big. It can be a coincidence. It can be, it's just something worked out in a way that you didn't think was going to work out. Your mind may have been like, oh, this is the worst case scenario, this is going to happen, oh my God. And then you get, oh, that wasn't so bad. The thing that I thought bad was going to happen didn't happen. Actually, it was better than I thought was going to happen. Share that. In other words, if you begin to have, just like we have gratitude lists, many of us have gratitude lists. You write down just all the things. Share your miracles with each other. And so that becomes a mental habit. You share your miracle stories, so that becomes a mental habit. And then you're opening your awareness to right seeing. And then, because the objective world can't exist without an observer, you start to see differently. You start to see differently. And then you start to be differently. You start to be differently. Then you start to see differently. Then you start to be differently. Then you start to see differently. As thou is, so thou seest. As thou seest, so thou is. Something begins to happen in this dynamic culture of transformation by which we get to change the world based on coming into a miracle perspective. You see, we can't make a miracle happen, but we can make it welcome. We can be available to it. But it does mean that the miraculous, the business of God, is not going to just suddenly come into your personality. It means that you're changing and becoming available. You've changed. You've shifted your point of view. You've changed your point of view. And then you come to the awareness that, as I've taught over the years, that the world is made up of an agreement of perceptions and beliefs and points of view and positionalities that we all agree upon. And then those things coagulate into a point of view, and then coagulate into a global experience. So when you watch the news all the time and you actually take that in, then you start to agree how bad everything is. You start to vibrate with that mentally, emotionally, and physically. And instead of producing oxytocin by being in love with the presence and dopamine, which allows you to be available to a powerful future, you start to overcreate cortisol and other chemicals that you become addicted to that keep you locked in your limited perception. And then you become dead right. I told you everything was nasty. I told you the world was this way. And then you become right, but you become dead right. Because the condition for those toxic chemicals begin to produce the genesis of a dis-ease in the body temple. And then you're not living up to the full measure of the Spirit of the living God coming into its own as your very life and being. There is an art to letting go. There is a miracle perspective. A perspective. You have to change your point of view. This is why you praise when you're in the Word. You're not trying to change God's mind. Thank God we can't change God's mind. Can you imagine if all these billions of people on the road were changing God's mind? Oh, God, I want you to be like this. God, I want you to be like this. God is the same yesterday, today, forever. There's only one mind. We are all emanations of the one mind. You see, one mind. And we're opening ourselves up to be, oh God, to be captured by this awareness. And this mind precedes brain. There used to be a thought that the brain and the mind were the same old science. There's the mind, and then the brain came, you see? There's the mind that controls the brain and the body, you see? And then what helps you control your mind? Your breath. Your intention, your prayer. You start to come into awareness, even before physical change takes place. And then this awareness of the one-mindedness that is governing everything. Everything, the entire cosmos is a reflection of divine order. That order begins to reveal itself through your life. And you start to have ahas. Oh, my God, you hear what happened today? Oh my God. or it didn't start till I got there. Or whatever it is. The mind may label it small or may label it large, but once you start to share it, then that becomes your perception and your perspective. That's what you're looking for. Catch this. What you're looking for, you're looking with. So if you start to look for the miraculous, you help create it. You help become the energy of the miracle that you're looking for. You're living in that dynamic. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Are you catching this? Because as I said earlier, someone's have to be bold enough to shine and to glow when there's constant talk about pandemic. Someone has to shine and glow when there's constant talk about war. Someone has to shine and glow with the possibility of that world arising. We have to be in that world. Think from it, speak from it, act from it, until that world reveals itself. And we become the vibrational tipping points of the world as it really is. When you look at